and like his like artist liaison or whatever came like running out of the room, and he's like, I need sliced limes. Tony, has he got any sliced limes?
Right then, team, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scratch Record podcast. Don't fucking laugh, you That's staying in. So today we're joined by a class band based in Manchester. They've been featured on the BT Music playlist. They've supported bands like the Sherlocks, and they've had multiple sold out tours. We want to make sure we congratulate them on their newest single, Be Mine. It's been fucking unbelievable. We are joined today by the Covasettes. How are we, boys?
What an intro.
Lads, yeah, great.
Thank you.
Elliot, I've got to be honest, you've fallen into the trap that everybody falls into. It's not the Covasettes.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Great intro.
Yeah.
Love the energy.
It was.
8 out of 10, but you would have been 10 out of 10 if you got the name right.
I do think I've heard you have a chat about this on the podcast before.
We did. I swear, I clarified that it was the Covasettes.
Well,
Not with any of us.
not as far as I know.
Fuck. So it's Covasettes.
Yeah.
The Covasettes then. Well, I do apologise.
Wow.
Rewind. I'll edit my voice over.
I can't believe. I swear I used to say Covasettes and then we got corrected. We must have fucked that up.
Maybe.
Well, it's a bit of a curse because it's not really a word, is it? So
Well, no.
I actually want to talk to you about that. Where the fuck did it come from?
well, you.
Yeah, I just came up with it one day. I was on the bus on the way home from work and just kind of came up with it. It was like, yeah,
And that's it.
that's literally it.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys. That was.
We've talked about, like, we've come up with these like elaborate stories of like how it was done, but I just thought it sounded nice. And literally it.
I like that.
If you say it right, it sounds
If you
nice.
say it right.
I'm gonna keep calling you the Covasettes now, just to wind you up.
Yeah, just to
About the
fish
whole
off.
way.
There's definitely a point, like, on the musical journey where like certain band names are pronounced wrong so much that like you just have to accept it.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
To be fair, at least it's just like a mispronunciation, because when we had the Barretts on, they said that people just kept calling them the Barringtons at some point.
And
I like that.
We played the Barretts before in Northampton.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Oh, they're good lads.
Where I'm from, so.
You're from Northampton?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
spoke to Marcus from Sapa Salpa about this.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
I went to school with him, yeah?
Yeah, he said that's wild because that's what we're based in Wellingborough.
Oh, right. Bloody hell, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. So it's all proper connections, that is. I do remember that conversation. That's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
Dementia joke.
Yeah. Serious memory loss issues.
No, the names are a weird thing because we've had gigs before where they'll like have someone announcing bands before you go on, and you'll be there sort of going, right, here we go, and he'll go, welcome on the Covasettes, and we're going,
Right, that is a butchering. Like
Yeah,
mine was
that's
poor,
bad.
but that's a fucking butchered.
We won a Battle of the Bands once, like in our very early days up in Blythe, near where I'm from, and the guy absolutely butchered it. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was like a different language.
but that's for another time. The Battle of the Bands is a story for another time.
That's a dark era.
We did once actually go on stage at a festival at Lechley. It's not really a name thing, but she said we won Best Upcoming Band 2018, and before you went on, she went, the Best Upcoming Band of 2008. And we're there going, what?
Fuck me, we've aged a bit in the last few years. Oh, no.
Oh, brilliant.
Mate, I feel like if it's your job to be on the announcer, like there's very few things you've got to get right on that night, but like the year is one key one.
Yeah, so that was a bit embarrassing, but
There we go. Well, to start off, we just wanted to pull it back to the beginning a little bit, really, now that we've sorted out the name issue, and do a little bit of maybe the more boring stuff that you've been asked a lot of times before. But for any of our listeners that don't know who you are, generally how you came about, how you all know each other, what sort of sound your band's like, all of that sort of jazz.
this is where you think we're a lot. If you thought we were cool at all, less cool than we are, because we met on a join my band website.
Yeah.
Tinder for bands, we called it.
You're joking.
Because I come to uni in Manchester, as did he, and then wasn't really happening. Didn't know anyone who's in a band. And I'm sort of sat there in my first year thinking, well, this is crap. So put an ad out, and then I think Matt was the first person I properly played with in Manchester, and then it just went from there, didn't it really? And then we found the drummer on the same website, and we still bully him because he sent a video to us of him playing in his living room, and when he used to drum, like before he'd been in the band, he used to drum proper upright like this with his hands into his chest. He did that, and then we had a bassist for a while who sort of withered away, and then Jamie, who plays bass for us now, lived with you, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's in a heavy metal band. And I was saying to Matt, I was like, can you get him in? And Matt said, no, he's into heavy metal. He's not going to do it. And he did. And then he's not been able to escape yet. So
beautiful.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started right here, this duo.
Yeah, because I'd lived with Jamie for like 2 years before we met. And then, he was into like heavy metal. So I just never even considered him as an option. And then we got together and found a bassist that was like, he's like a good lad. Like we got on with him really well, but he wasn't as good as Jamie is.
Jamie's done really, yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, could you explain? Because obviously, people that don't know who you are from our end, which I'll be quite surprised because we do talk about you a fair whack. If they don't know kind of what music you're going on about, because you're saying about heavy metal and it being completely different to what you make, how would you describe the sound that you lot are producing in your most recent singles?
Oh, that's
most recent.
That's a good way to word it.
Yeah, indie pop.
Yeah,
rock. We've kind of changed with the wind, don't we? Really.
I feel like because we've got that like sort of breadth of influences, like where Jamie was into his heavy metal. Like I still think influences like that come through. So I don't think any of the stuff that we're like all the stuff we've got out so far, like, I think you can tell that it's us, but we don't try and make one particular sound, but like it all comes under the umbrella of being like indie rock, pop sort of stuff. I think it's nothing too out there.
So do you all have quite a bit of an influence on the songwriting and all that sort of stuff then?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate for how we write songs because it's worked for us so far, and I always write the song on acoustic guitar. More recently, I have just a chorus, and then I bring it to these, and they put all their parts in. I think that's what makes it so much more interesting for me, because I've had songs where I took it to wanting to be some sort of sad love song, and it's turned up to be a proper rocking driven song. I think that's the beauty of it, really, because it's not just my influences, everyone's influences, everyone's styles going into it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like Chris lays down like the foundations, and then we come in and do like bits of like the interior and stuff like that. Weird analogy for it, but like that's pretty much what it is, isn't it? Like it could shape the sort of overall look of the song, but like Chris will come in with the meat of it,
Yeah, and everyone just kind of puts their own bit. It's been quite interesting because we've had quite a lot of different bands for this new series come in, all with different successes, and most of them have said that that's the way they've written. We've not had many bands where they've said like there's one sole songwriter. They've all been massive advocates for everyone kind of adding their little bit into it. Seems to be quite a modern way.
Yeah, because if you're going to be, if it was like a solo thing, then you'd expect it. But for a band, it's kind of a criticism I have of the way music's gone, in that the front person is always the one who's meant to be the one doing everything, or the person who gets credited the genius. And like in our band, like that's so not true. Everyone has such a big influence on everything. So
it's like a collaborative effort, isn't it? That's the point of being in a band. I think like you do it because you want to be with people that'll like develop you as musicians, as well as like just playing the songs. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love the sentiment of that, this is coming from a man who just DM'd us on Twitter, putting "It's me, Chris, frontman, legend," and the guitarist.
Don't get me wrong. Chris has the ego of one of like a Matt Healy. Like, that's not
spread it out there.
It's just to the creative process. He does. That's where we're allowed to like spread our wings a little bit. Everything else we're very fenced in.
Yeah.
Like, Chris wouldn't let me wear this hat at a photo shoot the other day.
Are you joking?
We can do what we want. Yeah.
Oh, I do like that though. I mean, I think we quite like to speak about that a little bit, because we mentioned it when we featured on the podcast, however long ago it was, when Be Mine came out, and said how like.
So, by the way, sorry to interrupt. That was good. We listened to like a few around that time, and you guys are good.
Oh, nice one. Thanks for that. Cheers. I can't remember what the fuck we'd have been talking about back then.
Yeah, probably waffling on some shit.
Yeah, but I appreciate that. But we sort of did pick out the fact that you are quite a like old school frontman when you're performing, in the sense that you do sort of have that bit of an air of arrogance about you, but in the best possible way. And but is that something you've done on purpose and thought, I'm going to be a frontman, or is it quite natural?
That's just years of watching Coldplay videos, I think, from like Chris Martin. I don't know, I've always liked that. And nothing worse for me than watching a band who someone's got to like get a crowd going, because there's so many gigs where we'll go on and the crowd haven't moved all night, and then if you know, and it comes with experience, but like knowing what gets crowds to work, it can transform the gig. And if you get a gig with no one listening, it's not a very good gig. So I think you've got to get everyone going, and I see that as my job. But it's funny that you feel like arrogance, because I'm just playing thinking, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good compliment, I suppose. So thanks.
Yeah, definitely. It is meant as a compliment.
Yeah, you got it down to like, it's not, I think if it does seem like arrogance, I think that'll come like, that's through confidence of you've tried things that haven't always worked. So now when something does work, like you kind of know it's going to work.
I've done a lot of things that haven't worked.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
There we go.
Time.
Let's start a section.
You know, I can't think of a moment on time about that's particularly bad, but we've had like, because we started on
Leeds. Was it Verve Bar?
So we had because back in when we first started out, you're not guaranteed crowds, are you? So we just took every gig we could and went, and we had one in Leeds at Verve Bar, Santiago Bar, something like that, and it's a shit room underneath a pub.
Yeah.
And we played, and there's seats around so you got the stage at the front and seats going around like in the corner, and you've just got like people's mums of other bands sat around the edges, no one standing up, and you've got a band like unpacking their stuff and like trying to load their gear out as we're playing. And I think that it wasn't necessarily a bad stage run, but trying to get them going, because I'm still like, fuck it, we're driven to Leeds, I'm going to have a go at it.
Yeah.
Or trying to get them to cheer is never going to happen. So we've had so many moments where we just go, right, let's just get the songs done and get out. Like Liverpool, have we?
Oh no! For some reason, like Liverpool, I don't know if it's because we're Manchester, but for some reason, people in Liverpool just hate us.
Yeah.
There's one. To be fair, if our guy's listening, that always comes. There's one lovely guy who always comes up and is like really nice to us and like is very complimentary and like gets into it. But other than that, everybody just hates us in Liverpool.
We played the same venue twice. And
is it not 3 times that we played? Oh no, because we did Studio 2, didn't we?
Studio 2. Okay, yeah. So we played 3 times. The first gig was actually very good, but the other 2 we played Zanzibar, which I think might shut down. Don't know whether that's true. And we just no one's ever there. Is that we play the gig and then we drive home and bicker at each other because we're trying to blame someone as to why it was so shit. It's because of this, because of that, and then we sort of go again. But I think you've seen us in where did you see us? Not Deaf Institute, not Breadshed.
Go on.
Was it Gorilla?
Gorilla. Yeah.
Real ones.
I sort of like stumbled across it really because you were supporting Oddity Road.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I didn't even know it was you supporting until quite soon before the gig. And I was like, fuck, Covasettes are supporting. I was like, that's sick, because I'd been listening to your songs then as well.
Oh, nice.
But it was surprising then, because I want to speak about that as well, in that I was surprised at the time that you were supporting them. And to be fair, I was going to say no offense to Oddity Road, but they're not a band anymore, so we can
No.
But I liked them and they're really good, but they weren't on, even with the numbers or anything, weren't on your guys' level. So the fact you were supporting them was quite interesting to me. And then the atmosphere for your gig was incredible. And it honestly felt like everyone just fucked off. And I was like, shit, no one's here for Oddity Road. Like, it was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
We owe a lot to Oddity Road because they give us our first ever gig in Manchester, over 100 people, was it? And like they sold out Breadshed and they give it to us for free. Like, Sunday tickets just come. And like we had our first ever mosh pit there, so that was like, I still remember that now. Like, and it's at Deaf Institute where we have now sold out when we get to play it. But and then we played Breadshed with them, and that was good. And then they offered us that, so it was kind of we were happy to be with it, and to take us with them. But see, they supported the Sherlocks a lot really early on.
Yeah, I saw them support the Sherlocks as well.
So I think be fair, it's like they, whilst maybe Spotify numbers, if you want to look at that, wasn't up there, they obviously had a lot of fans.
They did.
He would come to shows, and so it was good for us to get that sort of exposure, I suppose. But the gig itself was like a very good gig, and I get the crowd for us was unreal. And like I think we did cheers, and everyone got their flashes out, and it just looked so sick on stage. Like one of them unreal moments for me.
It was a class gig.
Like step to support them as well, like because as like they got us to support them like every step of like the way, as it were. And I think it was just like a sick gig. You know, like regardless of who was supporting who, it did feel like we know them as well, and like it did feel like it was like a shared gig, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely it was a really good gig, and it's a sick venue, and the room was bouncing for everyone, to be fair. But it's a shame about them really, because I did really like them, but there you go.
Yeah, we still keep in touch with the drummer and the Jack, the singer, every now and then. But it's a shame, but you know that's that, isn't it? Really,
it's the state of like indie music at the minute, isn't it? Like it's so hard for bands to like stay together with so many different obstacles and stuff.
Definitely. Absolutely. How have you boys managed it then? Really, it's been one of them. It's a tough one, isn't it?
We're all right because we moved in together, so we can do anything now, can't we?
Literally, yeah. I think I think we realized pretty early on that like it doesn't necessarily come down to like being rock and roll and all the things that you think is involved with being a band. It's like it's the interpersonal stuff, and like just literally keep going. Like there's no secret to it other than just actually keep going. Like if we didn't live together, it would have been so much harder. At this time last year, or like around the time first lockdown, like we must have been like the luckiest band in the country to like all be so close to each other. You know?
Yeah, and I think we've just learned, like if we want to piss each other off, we can do it in less than 5 words. Like we know what buttons to press, but I think we've just we've come through a lot as well. Like it's not always been like getting along. Like as with any band, they'll tell you that. Like it's always been difficult, but now we're at a point we've lived together for 2 years. Yeah, 3 years.
But it's weird, because we've got like we're not only bandmates, we're not only like best mates, we're like housemates as well. So you've got that, and like Jamie, our bassist, is one of the messiest people on the planet. It's things like that you just don't think, like when you're starting out, like the first time we jammed together, we didn't think we'd be like, you know, arguing over the dishes like 4 years later.
Like an old married couple.
Yeah, literally, But just stay together. Like that's the secret to it. Just keep going.
Yeah, that's true. Just got outlast. Because the amount of bands who we played with at the start who are still going now, you count on one hand, like because it depends what you're in it for. We were always in it. We didn't ever want to mess about and do a gig for the sake of it. We wanted everything we did. We wanted to do it to try and make it. And we still are. It hurts that we've lost a year, but we're still constantly trying to make it. And I think that's why nothing's going to stop us as far as we're concerned. We want to try and make at least a big mark on the scene before we wither away.
I think that's a good way to look at it for sure. Absolutely. Have you found that lockdown's been like hard with being in such close proximity with each other, or has it been almost a progressive kind of journey where you've been able to jam a little bit more and have a bit more time on your hands?
Yes to all of that. Like I think because it's been a year, it's the same for everybody, isn't it? Like you have in the space of a year, you have times where you've got, you know, where you're in a rut, and then you'll come out of the rut and you'll be like super productive, and then you have times where it seems effortless, and then you have times where it's difficult. So like in first lockdown, we were like on it pretty much straight away. We were like, right, we need to make the most of it.
We made this. This was
this room. Like kitted out a studio. We worked on a lot of new music. A lot of new music.
We've got got some tunes.
I like to hear that.
The corner of the whiteboard, but on the other side of it is absolutely full of different ideas. But then also you have times where like it's lockdown, and like obviously you're going to struggle. Literally everything he said has probably been on the cards at one point or another, hasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. I like that. Well, I had a little idea now. If you've said to have some gripes during lockdown, what's the one thing about each other that's pissed you off during lockdown? Let's sort it out right now.
We're all right, me. Yeah.
Right, do the other two then.
The ones that aren't in it can't back themselves.
We can't really. I think we.
You know, I know as a whole we're all right. Like as far as our arguments go, it will be it would be like someone's took the washing out of the dryer and left it on the pool table, and it's gone horrible. Like that's as far as we go. But as a whole, we're pretty good, you know. Like I think.
That's sick.
Not as rock and roll.
Nothing like exciting. Like it's all just stuff that like every pair of housemates would fall out over. You know?
I like it. So after uni, did you all just say you're committing to the band, move in and go straight into it?
Yeah.
I think we had Top Drawer out.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we were about to put out Wild, and we were like, oh, that's going to be it, because I was going to go back to Northampton, Jamie Oxford, him Sunderland. So it was like, right. So we thought, fuck it, we'll do a few years. I did a master's at uni, and then we just cracked on.
It was a weird one, wasn't it? Because I finished, Jamie and I are the same age, but I finished a year earlier. And we were like, that summer was so awkward because we didn't have a house worked out for the next year. It was like, are we going for it or not? And I think within the space of like 2 days, I think I moved to Manchester without having a house sorted.
You with me, weren't you?
And then I was living in his old house, and then you sorted out this house within the space of like 2 or 3 days. So it was like, I don't think it was ever in doubt, but we'd never sort of planned it out, if that makes sense. It's kind of like
it's the best thing we've done, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I always try and make us remember that, like when we were starting out, like a band living together and having their own studio room, they practice and recording, like it's like the dream for any band.
Yeah.
I always kind of say like, how and like Matt alluded to, how we're like the luckiest band sometimes to have that, because a lot of people don't. And so we always remind ourselves that we're quite lucky to have that.
Yeah. You were saying that, you did this studio room up like recently, did you say?
Yeah, started first lockdown.
March last year, I think.
Yeah, just like stripped it all, got some new furniture, like we've got like electric drum kits in here now. Like it's hard, I would show you around, but like behind you we've got like 2 screens and stuff and like speakers and a mixing desk, like just so we can do, because we realized it was like, well, it's sink or swim, isn't it really? Because we can we didn't, at that point of the first lockdown, it was like, well, I think someone said to us it'd be over by August, but but it was like, hence why we had an August tour, I think.
We were like planning on the April tour going ahead, and then we had a tour booked for April, that didn't go ahead, and then we were like, oh, we'll book one for August, it'll be, lockdown will be over by then.
Yeah, didn't happen. But yeah, so we literally did all that because we were like, well, we're going to have to do live stream gigs and at least record properly, so we might as well spend money that we have in the band account to be able to do that, and worth it for us, I think. Yeah,
like, because this, like, we do not live in a nice house. It's an old, like, you can feel the wind like through the wall.
Nice.
There's the ceiling cave in the basement and stuff. So like it wasn't like a super nice environment. So we like just like put a lick of paint on it and got like it kitted out. And I couldn't even tell you how many songs I've written down here, just because it's like better than
just good atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, because I can see the artwork in the back, and I have a question because I wanted to talk to you about your artwork and stuff, because everything you've released, I don't know who your artist is, but this is what I want to get into. I think it's fucking incredible. Like, it is
guy from Northampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, way.
Yeah, it's a guy I went to school with called Carl Thompson. He does art, and he's such a chill guy. I remember for the first 2, Wondering Why This Feeling, they're not him, they're us, because we didn't know what to do. That's why they look the worst. But we just went to Carl and we just said, here's a song, can you give us some artwork? We didn't have any real vision for it. And he'll sort of not get back to us for ages, and we'll be texted, mate, please can we have the artwork? Yeah. And we'll think, we don't even know what he's going to do at this point. He'll text me over a picture at midnight saying, hope this is okay. And I'm just like, oh, that's unbelievable.
Oh, that's sick.
And he's just, I can't take any credit for him, man. We send it to him and we say, hi, is this all right? And he says, yeah, don't worry about paying us. And I'm like, no, Carl, we're going to give you some money. Like, he's just so good.
So good. And I think the word genius is overused, but he is, like, I'd put him on that tier of like, I don't know anybody that's better at what he does than him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bit. I was looking through it, and even like to like the painting on the wall and like the whole theme and stuff that you've got going is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, we've got all printed out on like little things. So like we've got
that's sick.
Nice. Yeah. That's really sick.
We've got them all hung on the wall and stuff.
I'm not saying that we do, but if we did have some artwork for a future single, I'm telling you, it would look very good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Little sneak peek for our YouTube watchers.
When
we can send it to you, but...
when will this come out? Like 5 weeks' time?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely then. We can show them.
Will it?
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
That's about the time.
We just drop it tomorrow. Like.
No, it's about 5. We're about 5 weeks. We're working on getting about 5 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
It's just artwork. Like, it's not the biggest thing.
I'll get it for you right now, boys.
Beautiful stuff. Look at this. A TSRP exclusive. Another great time. This seems to happen a lot. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and go over to our YouTube channel, the Covasettes new artwork.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Fuck
very cool.
me.
I'll text you after.
Yeah.
That's mega.
Oh, that's
we think
so
it's the best
sick.
artwork that he's done as well. Like, he keeps getting better, so it's like we can't not use him.
It's like a new artwork, but it fits the theme of the previous one so well as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like because we're in a weird moment with music at the minute. We kind of wanted to get to a song where we were like, okay, let's try something a little bit different. So that's the song that we've got ready to go. We can say that now. It's coming out in 5 weeks, so it will be out on the 19th of Feb. I think we're planning to do, not to put anything on it, but around that time, maybe not.
Yeah.
But, in Feb. But so we kind of did that, and the artwork you come back with is just unreal. So we wanted to kind of keep it similar to the old ones, but maybe has that as like curbing it off.
Yeah.
Put an end to that sort of look, and we can move on after that. But yeah, it looks so good. We're so happy with it.
It's sick. It looks unreal. So is that your plan then? This single, a little bit of an end of an era, and then what's after that? Are you talking debut album or?
Oh.
I think, like, we'd love to, yeah. Like, I'd love to say yes. Like, we're like, you know, yeah, there'll be an album, but like, you just kind of make plans at the minute. Like, we've tried so hard to like plan a 6-month schedule or a 12-month schedule or even a 3-month schedule, and you just can't. It's like we're only just looking ahead to the next thing, and then we'll assess after that, like, what's the best thing.
But I think we just got so many new songs and such a different sound in songs that we've written that we'd like to do something again different. And we always try to. I don't know whether you guys think our songs are different than the last, but we always try and give a different spin on stuff.
Yeah.
Something like Pairs, just like that's the way it's naturally happened, but we try and put them separately.
Absolutely. I think you've got, I think about this earlier because I was going back through your discography and all that. And I think you have got, the reason why I think you've done so well compared to a lot of up and coming bands is because you've managed to change your style for nearly every song. But yet I know it's a Covasettes song the minute it starts, like literally the first riff, whatever it is. I'm like, I know it's you guys. I mean, I don't really know how you've managed to do it, but it's just got a very sort of unique feel to it, but you just know it's you. But is that, again, something you've worked on? Is that naturally just your styles sort of runs through?
Big compliment. Maybe, yeah, I think it's a bit of both. The production style probably is quite a lot of it, because Jamie, our bass producer, so I think that's definitely a sign, which we kind of don't want to deviate too much production-wise, do we, on our process, because we like the sound that we come out with, you know. But I think it probably comes down to that, and of course no matter what genre you play in, some tricks you do musically can still be similar, you know. So I think maybe the choices we make when we're writing a song can be a big influence on that. Is that a pint of Guinness?
Yeah. I was trying to do it as subtly as possible. Of course it is. Little pint of Guinness. I was trying not to. I get shouted at by people when I crack it to near the mic and everyone hears it. So I was trying.
By people, you definitely mean me.
Yeah, and Chris. When cameraman Chris was around, he used to shout.
When he's around, he's not fucking dead. The poor boy just can't get in the studio. Yeah, the cameraman Chris was around.
When he was around. Bless him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
I'm treating myself.
Good.
Well, I was meant to be working early tomorrow morning. I'm not now, so it was like.
Let's get on it.
Yeah, why not?
Wish I'd have been.
Yeah.
City are playing right now. I don't know what the score is, but I'm having a drink.
That's why we had to do this at 7 and not 6, because the football was on today. We were watching that, so we were like, let's do it.
Yeah. That was mine. I was going to get you started at 5:30, so we were done for the City game. But I was like,
okay.
We're compromising. That's okay.
So you boys, big football plan?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've been so good for the whole fucking time, and I've had 2 glasses of wine, and I've tripped over.
Yeah, we are. Well, me and Hugh just have a religious thing where we watch Match of the Day every weekend, normally both days, and we also play Football Manager alongside it. So that's just our life at the minute, isn't it?
If we were holding out to like any semblance of us being cool, it's wiped out.
Yeah.
I love that.
So who do you support at the minute?
I'm a Coventry fan.
God.
Why?
I'm so disappointed.
Wait till you hear what I support. I'm a Sunderland fan.
Who do you support?
Well, I like Cobblers.
Yeah, I love a bit of Cobblers, to be fair.
No, right. No, give him your proper answer. Listen to this, right? This is how you know he's not actually a football.
No, I'm not a big football supporter, to be fair. I'm not a big. I am an Arsenal fan.
Right, okay, that's fine.
Due to family.
But then what? A couple of weeks ago on the podcast, we spoke about this, and you said you're a Leeds fan. So
the reason why I said this, right? And I explained this on the podcast, but I'll explain it again to anyone that's listening, and whether I cut it out or not, I can't remember. I am an Arsenal fan, but Arsenal are fucking shit at the minute, so I prefer Leeds.
I'm into that. Fair enough.
So, like, Leeds are the team that I've watched the most. I went uni there, so like I've watched them the most. I've been to their games the most. I enjoy watching them play the most. But yeah, I've always kind of said I'm an Arsenal fan, and I ain't going to deviate.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what you do. You sport.
I'm a Man City fan, massive Man City fan.
Right.
Yeah. My dad always was, and so I've just taken it from him really. And that's also, putting it back to music, that's my biggest compliment I can give you is that you are by far my dad's favourite band.
Yes.
Nice.
And it just made me laugh.
That seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
We
I was going to ask
you.
Because I was going to talk to you about this anyway, and then I was scrolling through your Instagram earlier, and your Christmas post, and you were like, Merry Christmas to like your dad's favourite band. And I was like,
yeah.
You are, but what is that actually a thing for you?
In a way, not that it's massively noticeable, but we've sometimes done gigs maybe with a slightly younger demographic, and the dads come up after going, "That was pretty good, that." Yeah. Get that, and I think maybe that's because sometimes our songs are slightly more nostalgic, or I don't know, but yeah, we do.
I feel like as well we value that sort of like slight nod off of the parents more than like the screams of the like 12-year-old kids, you know.
Mate, I would like honestly. He's listened to more music than anyone that I know and knows his stuff. So he made me make a playlist of all like up and coming stuff, so you can like keep an eye on it. And he said like your stuff is his favourites, and I put like one of all your songs in it. And honestly, like he walks in from work every day and he's like, spin, spinning. Like, and I'm like, fuck's sake, Dad. I was like, come on. But honestly, that's, I think there is no big compliment than that generation appreciating it. Because I think they sort of, live through a lot of good music. So if they like it now, it must be.
Yeah, and that's the biggest compliment we can get really for us. Like if I tell you, like for me, and it's that sort of thing where sometimes if you meet someone new and they catch on that you're in a band, not that I tell them straight away, but
I bet it's up there. I bet it's pretty quick.
It's written on his forehead. But
do you like indie music? Because I could show you something about that.
Yeah. I've got my guitar.
Do you want to play Wonderwall for you?
But sometimes you'll say to someone like I'm in a band and they'll go, all right, I think it's a bit of a gimmick, and then they might listen to you and they'll come back the next day and go, oh, I really like this song. And that's kind of what you just said there is the biggest compliment we can get really, in terms of that people do actually like it and it's not, something that's like throwaway to them,
What's the biggest compliment or biggest person that's complimented on your your music at the minute?
Matt Edmondson from Radio 1 said we were tight.
Fern Cotton said we were mesmerising.
Fern Cotton said we were mesmerising.
That's
wow. That's cool.
That's like the biggest person though. I think it means more when just like people you don't expect to like it.
Yeah. We've had some nice compliments on that time,
There was that guy up in Blythe Tavern that you.
Yeah, we played right. I'm not trying to blow our own trumpets here, right? This is like a really nice moment. So we played a gig in Blythe, and this guy, and again, Blythe Battle of the Bands is a story for another time. But we played a gig in Blythe, and this guy who works behind the bar comes to us after, and he says, "Top Drawer is the perfect song. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard." I sort of laugh. He's like, "No, everything's right about it. It's brilliant." And he's been like really sincere, and I was like, I don't know what to say.
Just kind of start crying.
But it's like that sort of thing is like just that coming from someone like that. Like, you didn't have to say that, and I think that always means the most to us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I know you keep mentioning this battle of the bands.
Yeah, sorry.
Right?
You can't say that.
You say it's a story for another time. But this is a fucking podcast, so we've got as much time in the world.
Lads, we're waiting for series 2 of the podcast, right?
It's a story.
We need something to look forward to. The fans.
This is series 2. So
3.
It needs a good hour and a half, and we need a few beers in.
Okay. Right, we'll leave it, but only if you promise that when you tell this story publicly, it's through us.
Yeah, 100%.
Fine.
100%.
We'll take that. It's a
good story. But yeah, sorry, we should have do this. Sorry, next time.
We didn't even plan on talking about it. It just keeps coming up. It clearly had a big effect on us.
Yeah, evidently.
Quite scarring by the sounds of it.
Oh, bro, don't. Seriously.
If we can't have that story, let's delve into a few that you can tell. Some bad experiences of gigs you've played, been at, something that's happened to you that you've got to tell that maybe isn't quite as good as Blythe Battle of the Bands, but...
Manchester first sellout headline at the Atma. There was a girl there that needed a chair for whatever reason, absolutely fine. And for some reason, the only chair that the venue had was this old wooden sort of dining set chair. So it was as tall as any of the people in the crowd. And halfway through the gig, she decided she no longer needed the chair. So everybody started picking it up to pass it back. And then our mate Dan was in the middle, and he didn't get the memo that these chairs were coming back. So he just got it whacked straight
in the head. And there's a video of us playing a song, and you just hear a scream because someone's let go of the chair, and you just hear a boof, and you just hear Dan go, "Ah, fuck." And that chair was a legendary moment. In terms of bad gigs, we've always been all right. We've had it's hard. You know what? It's so hard because we're still going now. It's hard to tell stories without completely annihilating other bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
then.
Exactly what we want you to do.
And I'll try and do this. I'm thinking bass player.
Okay.
So we did a gig early on, right? And we're backstage. It's quite early on, and we're backstage, and this guy is there, and he's playing bass in the band who's supporting us, I think. And he's sort of there going, I've only played a few gigs, but I'm sort of been working on my image and stuff. And we're like, oh, cool, that's pretty good. And he's saying, I'm getting more confident on stage. And he's just sort of sat there. He's got long hair, and just before they're going on, he's putting eyeliner on, and I'm going, all right. And the whole band's a bit when he's sort of sat there, he's put his eyeliner on. And we go out to watch him. There's not many people there. There's maybe 30 people in the room.
Yeah, it's mainly families.
And he walks out on stage, and the whole band go on, and he sort of walks out with his bass head down, and he turns to face, and he's got a hood on with a hood up, no t-shirt on underneath, an eyeliner, and a bass guitar. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, this guy's going to be unreal. And he stands there the whole gig completely still, frozen, staring down, just playing his bass, looking completely nervous for the whole gig.
It was so weird because expecting him to go out there headbanging, he's got this look that's quite out there. Yeah. And literally stands there with his head down like that for
and he comes off, he's I'm pretty nervous. I'm thinking, why the fuck did you take your shirt off, bro?
Yeah.
Well, you have to go for it. If you're taking your t-shirt off, you have to be flea. And he just, oh man. So you have this
sad.
Where you're just thinking
oh no.
Yeah. So that was a really cringe one, wasn't it? The bass guy.
The bass guy.
We had one really early on where this band who supported us, they asked the venue for their last song to turn the lights off at the start and turn it on when it hit. And it was on Zombie Shack in Manchester, a shit venue. And the guy said, we haven't got anyone to do that. We don't have people on lights. The lights are just on. And they said, no, please do it. So the guy behind the bar turns the lights off and he says, if I'm serving someone a drink, I can't turn them back on. They're like, yeah, sound. So they start playing the ending of their song. There's no one in the room. And it hits.
There was for that one. There was people there.
It was their mates.
Yeah.
40, 50 people in the room.
Yeah.
And it hits, and the guy behind the bar is just serving pints. So they played the whole end of their song with no
just in darkness,
looking up turn them on. And it was
it wasn't like lights flashy lights like that. It was just like the venue lights.
Yeah. Oh no!
Fuck.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh mate, to be fair, when you're coming up like that, you've got to prove something before you can start flicking the lights on and off for your songs, really. Yeah.
That's exactly it, and that's kind of our thing. What we've learned the most is that any advice we give to any band is just be decent to everyone you meet, because
be nice, work hard.
But it's like literally some people we've met, like the guy who did our sound at that gig, one of our very first gigs, now does our sound for us at every gig, and like he's like such a big part of the band, and so many people we've met through music who, you know, we just had a chat with and was all right, have given us something in return at the end, and bands like that do themselves no favors, you know.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good advice. I think some people do need to hear that, especially because I think sometimes some bands think that the way to get noticed is by doing that sort of stuff, by sort of being a bit extra and having a bit about them. But actually, like, the tunes have just got to be good, and then you've got to work hard, be nice to everyone, and you might get somewhere.
Don't get me wrong. I'm all for you know, Liam Gallagher type geezer or the Alex Turner type geezer, but you have to be them people first, you know.
Yeah.
And I think people come in trying to play with their shirts off or turn the lights off, and it's like no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to do the easy bit first, and then you can get onto that if you've got almost like a right to do it. But I don't know, who am I? I mean, I could just be being bored.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're in like no position to give advice, but like what's worked for us is certainly like turning up on time, being nice, working hard, like literally.
And that works. Yeah, no need for drama like having to go at sound guys or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
we have. So it's hard to like go into. We've been talking for so long about bad gigs that we've had, but like it's so hard to actually be specific. There's just so many.
Yeah, there is.
It's just so many.
Well, like live music is like there's no two things happen the same, really, is there? There's we've had like foreign sound engineers that just like refuse to like play us back through the monitors and stuff.
Yeah,
like. Yeah,
we did a festival once where they had like the playlist music going through. When you play on stage, your wedges is like what gives you the music back, you know. So like if I'm playing, I can hear it up front. And we had someone who's playing like the music of the playlist for the festival through our wedges as we're playing live. So I'm hearing like Girls Aloud as I'm playing. But you have loads of stuff like that, but that's just the beauty of it, isn't it? We've done gigs at like RAF bases, like loads of stuff they've invited us to play for them, and they're always mental, aren't they?
Sick.
So yeah, we've done loads of fun stuff. Like
well, let's move it that way maybe then from worst to best, because we've got about this gig at Leeds Direct Arena for most exciting act of 2018. 2008. I just went of 2008. Yeah. So what was that like? That sounds sick.
That was like probably best night of our lives, probably.
Yeah, legit. Like it was because it was for this thing called the Arias that we'd never heard of, but it's effectively the British radio equivalent of like the Oscars and stuff. So you had like that's where we met like Matt Edmondson and The Breakfast Show, Greg James and like all them, and like we had to be fair, a good story for the weird band stuff. Tony Hadley was also playing from Spandau Ballet. And, we were like chilling like just before we were about to go on like backstage, and like his like artist liaison or whatever came like running out of the room, and he's like, I need sliced limes. Tony, I haven't got any sliced limes. It's like
he sweated literally sweated. Our runner, because every band got like a runner liaison, somebody's like gonna get them stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, bro, we don't need anything. Like, there's some Haribos on the table and some beers in the fridge. We're all right. And the guy was, and so he ate dinner with us in our room. They gave us like dinner and stuff. And he said he's been doing it for X amount of years, and we're the first band who's ever eaten, like, who invited him in. We were like, what the hell?
It was mad because there was other people playing that were like, obviously, like, we're not a big band, so like we don't have any of that illusion of grandeur or whatever. But there's people that weren't that much bigger than us that were like demanding, like, do you remember what's their name? It was like gluten-free pizza, or like they were from a specific place or something. Yeah. Like it was weird.
Yeah. Weird. So yeah, anyway, so it was unreal gig, and he had Tony Hadley, he had Sophie Ellis Bextor sing Murder on the Dance Floor. That was about it. I think it's her only song. I think she might have one other. And it was just unreal, like the whole, like going out to play Leeds Arena, like, and knowing like the crowd of people was everyone in there. We wanted them to play our music, you know. It was
wanted them to hear it.
Yeah, and you had like obviously people in the public come in, and they didn't tell us, but they gave us pyro. So as we were playing, like we had all the screens behind our names on it, and as we were playing, fucking fireworks things go off.
Oh fuck yeah! Like, come on.
It was just good to have a taste of like, if we keep going this, like this is what we'll have on the regs, and like and I think
went so fast though, didn't it?
It did, and I think it's probably the best week we've had. So if I remember rightly, and I could be wrong, I think we had that, and I think we supported the Sherlocks either a week after or a week before. So we come off Leeds Arena and like, that was sick, and then supported the Sherlocks at a sold out Leeds gig, which was unreal, and like we're just flying, weren't we? Then it was so good. That
was a very good week.
Yeah, I think we had something. Well, I can't remember what it was.
Like compared to those two.
Yeah. So that was as good as it gets, and like everything worked. We played well. Like I'm never particularly nervous, but I remember waiting backstage to go on, and they had us back there for like 15 minutes, waiting, and I'm just sat up the stairs like just waiting to go on, thinking, can I please just play the song now? That's the worst part.
Yeah, please hurry up.
All the pub gigs we play, it's like the barman might be like, right lads, you ready? But other than that, like nobody tells us to do anything. Whereas there, you had like teams of security being like, right, we're gonna get such and such band to the stage now, and like you'd have like liaisons like walking you through. There was like famous people everywhere. It was a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah,
sick.
Very good. Yeah, unreal.
Who was the coolest person you met at that?
Tony Hadley.
Nah.
Yeah, he was just fucking cool, man.
He was cool.
There's probably cooler people, but for me, like, he's just a geezer, isn't he? Like, who else was there?
I had a chat with like Greg James.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's
Melvin.
cool.
Is it Melvin?
That's him.
Yeah.
A fist bump. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, probably our artist liaison was the coolest.
He was
guy.
geezer, yeah.
He was proper sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tony Hadley was. He just had that like air of importance about him, didn't he? He was like, you knew when he like walked into the room.
We still got some confetti of when he played Gold. You know, like we got like confetti with us. Come on.
That's sick. So as one follow-up question to that, I was going to just ask you a much more basic question. I thought of a nice way to put it. So if you could only play one of your songs to that crowd that's full of radio DJs, celebrities, people that you want to prove yourself, which one of your songs would you choose to like showcase yourselves?
Our next song. Yeah, it's literally what we did at the time, wasn't it?
Oh right, yeah.
At the time, we had Top Draw had just come out and like it was on the indie list at the time we played it, and I don't think we played Top Draw because we backed the next song,
Yeah, we wanted them to like see what else we had, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Viable, and that's what we did. I don't know what I'm just looking up at the songs we have. Just
names of songs that you don't know.
Yeah, one song.
Twitsu, maybe.
Twitsu's probably up there. Like that's got a bit of everything in it for me.
Yeah.
For Radio 5 Live, isn't it?
Yeah, Twitsu's pretty good. We've got a few new ones which like I think do a lot, but it mean nothing to you. So yeah, Twitsu probably is one that's got it all, isn't it? Like a big bridge in it and stuff.
Nice one.
Oh. Brilliant. Well, I've got a nice little section. I thought this is the time. I have a section that we're bringing into this series, which is it's a scenario-based question, sort of. So I'll give you a scenario, and you've got yourselves and the band to pick from of either who it's most likely to be, who you get to do this, or who you'd get to help you with this scenario.
Right.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I like this, by the way.
This is way better than just like, where are you from?
Mate, this is honestly the amount of people that have gassed this section up now. Like I could just see he's come up with this and said he's going to do it, and then I'm like, yeah, sounds all right. Like I'm thinking some people might just be like, oh, I don't know, like, and just pick someone. And everyone we've done it to is really gassed up. So
yeah, right.
There we go, Elliot. Yeah,
and it's good fun. It's a little insight to kind of how my head works because I have to make up all the scenarios.
Right.
So, and they're always, I try and make them as weird as possible. So I've got my first one for you. You've been awoken. It's the middle of the night. You hear a ruckus in the back garden. You look out. There is a hooded man in the back garden burying something. Who out of the band is it most likely going to be?
Getting buried.
Burying something. We don't know what the item or person or thing is. Who out of the band is going to be doing that in the middle of night?
I'm going to say J-Mac.
It probably will be J-Mac.
On bass, Jamie. It just because he's fucking. He does things where you're like, what are you doing? And probably him. What would he be burying? No, that's not the question. But he'd be. I don't know what he'd be burying.
It'd be weird. Yeah, it's a weird scenario though. I feel like weirdly our other housemate Andy, he would be a good one for that. I reckon he'd do it. Because he's just weird. He'd be like feeding the foxes, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just feeding the foxes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably Jamie on bass. He's a Western.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one I've got for you, you've stranded on a desert island. Your boat sank. You've washed up on this desert island. All there is that's kind of made it from the boat is a battery-powered record player that still works. And that's all you've got. You need to get ready for the night. You need someone who's going to make the shelter, find and forage for the food, start the fire, and then one person has to be in charge of the music. Who are you going to put for each section?
Chris would take the record player before we had that.
Okay, cool.
Getting the aux.
Yeah, I know. Chris always has the aux, like in the van and stuff, like for sure.
In terms of who's getting food, probably you. Because whenever we have like fires,
I reckon I'm the best cook. Yeah.
Probably like when we have like fires in the garden or something, like he's always the Bear Grylls on it.
Yeah.
So I think probably Matt on.
I did the Duke of Edinburgh one when I was 13. I'm just living off them glory days.
So what's the other two? Was it one?
So someone's got to make the shelter and someone's got to start the fire and get the wood.
Oh.
I'd probably put Buck and Jamie, the drummer and the bassist, on collecting resources.
Yeah.
And then we'd struggle through the rest.
Yeah, I've just got one hand on the record player trying to get Dark Side of the Moon on.
Yeah.
Just like set an album running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Question. Yeah, so can we do that? Are we cheating? We're kind of splitting responsibility.
No, we'll let you off. We'll let you off with that one. That's fine. That is fine. So I've got one more of this section, and it's a little bit odd, and I don't know. I don't know how acceptable it is, so I might cut it. But
always great words from you, Elliot.
So you're doing a tour in Russia. You're driving down a dark road. You get stopped by some suspicious-looking men in black vans. They jump out. They kidnap you. You take you back to their warehouse. You're all sat there tied up and you're all, you can't see each other. You've all got bags on your head. You all have to nominate one person to back a bottle of vodka. Who are you nominating to get your release?
Easy.
Drummer.
Fuck all day. Like, I tell you, drummers are pretty useless sorts. You don't want to rely on them for anything. But if I give a pint to that man, it is gone. Like it just goes. It's unreal. I mean, you don't even have to push him that hard. You just be like, look, you're being a bit slow there, mate. And you'll just look at you in the eyes and whack it back.
That only he can do, and it says that drink's going. Like literally, just like peers at it, and the drink's like, gone in a second. I reckon I'll back him for a bottle of vodka though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best drinker I've met for sure.
He's an awful drinker. Like he's not. He doesn't hold it well. He's a lightweight.
He gets it down.
But he gets it down so well.
I like that.
Yeah.
Smart.
Good question.
Well, there you go. That has been my scenario section for this afternoon.
So the question was, who would down a bottle of vodka and you could got kidnapped for it?
Do you know what? I was thinking the same about that one. Some of them are quite scenario based, and I was like, you've just told a story for like a minute. Basically, who's the best drinker in the band is the question.
Yeah, but you got to get there. You got to lead them around the houses a little bit. I can't just be like, who can drink? It's not fun.
It's an hour's podcast. If it's a 6-second interview, we might smash it out. But
yeah, it's good. No,
there we go. I like that. I've got one quick follow-up one.
Yeah.
And I just thought of it because we speak about it at uni all the time. And it's a bit quicker, but if there was like a Hunger Games scenario with you four in the band, there's one winner and there's any means of survival, who's winning?
Oh, you know what? It would be like, so everyone would have such a different approach. I couldn't even tell you.
No.
Like,
and all four of us would back ourselves.
Yeah, but our drummer, right? Travis, our drummer reckons, this is over lockdown, this is what happened, right? We're outside a few beers, he goes, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, he said he could take all three of us on in a fight if we all come at it at once, he's like, I can do it.
Right, so we're there, have a few beers around the barbecue. Obviously, you get a bit leery and whatnot. Yeah. And out of nowhere, I'm pretty sure as well. It's just like, I could definitely say all three of the fight. What is that? What? Where is this? Why? But yeah, he would definitely think he would survive the longest.
Yeah. And then he said he could do a front flip. So we got in the car, drove down to the park, and then made him do a front flip. And he actually could do a front flip.
Fuck. I back him then to survive.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
The only reason as well we had to drive to the park was because he said he couldn't do it on the grass in our garden. So obviously at this point, we're like, Buck, just admit you can't do it. Yeah. But
you can. I've got video as well.
That's fair. Fuck. I'll tell you, I want to learn how to do a front flip. I feel like it's
you're too tall.
I'm not that tall.
You got too many limbs, I think.
Yeah.
he's 6'4".
How tall is he?
6'4".
Oh, well, I'm 6'5", so I think I can do it.
You can't do it then. You're out of
I'm going to have to give it
That's the cut-off, mate. You're fine.
Is it? 6'4" is as tall as you can get. If not, you're going to land on your head.
The thing is, you're 6'5", but I think if you're like 90% leg, I'm not sure you
I am 90% leg. I have to admit, there is
your
a
ratios have to be in proportion, do you know what I mean? So it's...
I don't know. I'm no expert. I think he didn't make it look very easy, put it that way. There was a few where he sort of fell on his ass.
Took him a few attempts.
Yeah, we could do it.
Oh, I'm going to get a crack. I might do some YouTube lessons. YouTube lessons, learn my way through it. Well, it's got to that time of the evening. We've been going for a while now. I don't even know how long we've been going now. 56
minutes according to my phone.
Oh, wow, lovely. Well, it comes to a nice ending. We've been trying to round them off about an hour, so that's kind of perfect. We have a little section at the end where we kind of ask the person we're interviewing to name some up-and-coming artists that they're listening to at the minute that they're really enjoying that need a bit more recognition, and we kind of go around the people in the call, and we all have an artist that we kind of pull forward, or two if you want.
You go first. I'll just check my Spotify.
Beautiful.
Go on,
well, I would like to speak about a band called Home Counties. I don't know if anyone's heard of them.
No.
But they remixed Pop Shop by Courting, and they did a really good remix of it. So I found them through that, and they're actually really, really fucking good. They've not been a band for very long, but they do like it's sort of like the like Shame type vibe, but a little bit synthy, a little bit India, and a little bit lighter than that, but sounds really good. And that remix was sound, and then I went through the other music, and that's also just as good. So Home Counties is a good one to check.
We'll check them out, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to pull forward a band that I found the other week called Hey Up. Like Hey Up, but one word.
Hey Up, nice.
Hey Up. Which they've supported Gallus before. But they're a slightly different vibe. They've got a bit of it's a Scottish band, I believe. I'm going with. But they're more indie than Gallus, and they don't shout as much, but yet they've got a very distinct vocal over the top. Still very indie rock, but it sounds fucking superb.
Nice,
yeah. I don't know I would say for me, Zuzu. We played with her once in Manchester. Do you know Zuzu? She's just unreal, man. She's just sick, isn't she? And she's got so many songs where it's like, bloody hell, she doesn't make it, then no one's going to make it. So she's up and coming, isn't she, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, she's been around for a while, but she's definitely like in that up and coming bracket. Yeah. Like she's wicked. I think she's the best person to play.
Who do you say?
I don't know. To be honest with you, lads, the Declan McKenna album in September has ruined all new music for us.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen to.
Oh, mate. It was absolutely outrageous. Like, it actually sort of wasn't fair, was it, really?
Literally, like, we were like, because so many good bands have had music out this year. Like, Marsican's debut album was really good. Seagulls, like, to name but a couple, Sports Teams album's really good. But, like, Next album is so good.
Yeah, it's so sick.
And your Spotify rap thing?
Yeah.
My first 8 songs were the first 8 songs of his album.
Oh my God.
Fuck. Good, man. Like, it's just, every song is a joke.
Yeah.
And have you heard the cover of Hallucinate by Dua Lipa?
No, I haven't.
Treat yourself.
We literally sat in these seats one night, just chilling, late on, watching it, a few beers in, and I didn't know it was a cover. And I was like, that is like one of the best songs I've ever heard. It's a Dua Lipa song, and like I think the original sounds shite, but his actual cover of it is like so
unreal.
He's put it on Spotify.
Yeah, listen to it. It's very good.
But you up-and-coming bands, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I like Floral Scene in Manchester.
Oh yeah,
they've got a few banging tunes.
Yeah.
It's hard because we've had it like a year out of upcoming bands in a way for us because we haven't met any, you know.
Yeah.
Riskers, like we love Riskers.
Oh, Deco good as well.
Yeah,
Deco is sick. Yeah, they've been in the playlist before.
Did a song with them.
Good.
They're Deco, great. Yeah, nice bunch of guys as well. Deco.
Beautiful.
Yeah, is that enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's covered a few.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's plenty. yeah, it's good. We just like kind of making sure that the love spread. The love is spread evenly, and it gets it kind of done. So yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. But you were saying about Declan McKenna album. I'm a bit like that with Youngblood's new album. I have to admit,
really?
I've listened to that album so fucking much at the minute.
Good. That's good to hear because I think albums are a bit of a dying breed in terms of like the way they're consumed. Because for me, I still buy CDs and stuff to like listen to an album the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's good to hear people like listen to albums because sometimes an album doesn't make sense if you listen to tracks on randomly. Do you know what I mean? You have to, so it's good to hear that.
Yeah, I've always listened to albums like that. For the first time I listen through it, I do listen to it front to back, and play it all the way through because 9 times out of 10 there is a storyline to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've both been advocates of that. I was the same with Shame's new album when it came out the other day.
Yeah,
I was literally there at midnight, like waiting for it, and then put it on from the start and just like listened and like to be excited for an album. It's good. 'Cause I agree. It's a bit of a dying out, but I was like, even though I was tempted because the first one there was a single already, so I was a bit like I could skip it, but I was like, no, they've put it there for a reason. Let's have the whole thing in a row. Yeah, class.
I'd love to hear that. I really do because we're a bit like that with B-sides. Like we always do a B-side when we can, and I think that's like I don't know why. I think it's quite nice we do it to like put out a song that we wouldn't normally put out, but we can kind of like we like it in its own weird way, you know. So
I love a B-side.
I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think all the albums that come out like this year from like those sorts of new bands that we were talking about, like we're all pretty good at that. I think. I think about like Catfish's album, and that was like they released 4 singles, and then there's kind of nothing else to it. Like the latest album.
Same again, yeah.
Like,
when we support them in a few years, please don't post this video.
Yeah, I'm going to clip this up. I'm going to make it a GIF with subtitles over the top of it and just get it spread around.
Career over.
Yeah, I'll be like, lads, honestly, that album's unbelievable.
Top 10 album.
The singles on it were strong, but like, it didn't seem to be like a story. I think it's like what we look for in it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A Deck Makes album, like very good album.
So good.
We shouldn't have got onto that.
Hey, they got that. As soon as we hang up the call, they're just going to be talking about it all night.
As soon as you guys are on the screen, we're going to put Hallucinate on again.
Do it. Treat yourselves, lads. I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you all for watching and listening. If you are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you subscribe, leave a rating on Apple, and follow our social medias at the SR Podcast. Make sure you go over to the Covasettes page and make sure you go to them, show them some love because they've got that single is unbelievable, and also the new one that should be out by the time this comes up, if maybe, or at least announced. Make sure you go stream it and show them some love. So we'll see you all on the other side. Peace.